Good afternoon. Today I have the privilege of being able to sit down with Kurt Hagenmeyer, who is the sales director of Mutual of Omaha, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his company, what they're looking for, and hopefully if anybody else joins in and you have questions, you'll be able to get those answered. So thank you, Kurt, for joining us today. Can you tell us, can you tell us a little bit about Mutual of Omaha and the work that gets done there?
Yeah, absolutely. So Mutual of Omaha has been around since 1909, obviously in Omaha, Nebraska. Started, a long time ago as more of a very insurance-focused company and working in insurance products for our clients, but have slowly really kind of morphed and changed into a comprehensive financial planning firm. So, for us, it's really ultimately about sitting down with clients and potential clients and assessing what their goals, what their priorities are financially and for their future, and going through a process to really assess where they're at currently and coming back with solutions and ideas to help them close that gap and get closer to reaching those financial goals.
What positions are you hiring for full-time?
So our full-time role is the financial advisor opportunity. We've actually made a pretty exciting change to that role recently. So it's now you actually start as an associate advisor with us, coming in with your life and health license. And then after the 90-day period, you then get the opportunity to start to study and sit for your Series 65 investment license, which then allows you to become a full-time financial advisor with us.
Does Mutual of Omaha assist in any of those exams?
Yes. So we have a kind of a 3-year startup program that we have, but within the licensing piece of it, we do provide the material for the life and health license. So all of the training material you have at your fingertips to really go through and study for that course. And then there is a bonus that you get paid out after completing that piece of it and passing your exam. Similarly, with the Series 65, we utilize Kaplan for that, and they have great content, great material, both in print and online to really help them study. There's a dashboard and calendar feature as well to help them study through that process. But we have our investment team in our home office as well that has been extremely helpful through the process. And for them, they have a 2-hour session every Thursday where they'll start to break down topics, have conversations to really, understand, what the test is expecting, what it's looking for, and helping them understand those topics. And then, we have someone here in our, district, our Midwest region that works within our investment team, who's an awesome individual to work with as well. And he actually schedules one-on-one time as well so they can study and then prepare for the exam. So a ton of resources and support through the process and really helping them get ready and prepared to take the exam. Then like the life and health, there is also a bonus once they pass that exam as well.
That's awesome. Do you hire any interns or part-time positions?
We do. So we do internships. We had originally planned for summer to do an internship here in our office. I think we're moving that to the fall, more so with the landscape of current events and really wanting to make sure that we give our interns the full correct experience as they go through this. It was going to be more difficult for us to do so depending on what happened and if it was in a virtual environment. So are looking to move that more toward the fall internship.
What do you look for in a candidate when you're hiring?
Yeah, it's a great question. So for us, there's, some different qualities that we see, outside of, major and background. I think business, finance, a lot of those majors are great majors, but we've seen a lot of people come from, other majors as well, like marketing and communications. And ultimately it's, we look for that outgoing person that, can get out and network and enjoys networking. Leadership qualities are big as well. So, experience in different leadership roles, whether it's on campus and fraternities or sororities or outside, groups. I think, ultimately that the leadership mindset of it is, even as an advisor, you have to really be able to lead those clients and navigate those clients into, some difficult decisions sometimes for their financial future. So that's big for us, being a self-starter. So being able to take those day-to-day tasks on and get up and going within those and really identify the calendar. Because it is somewhat of an entrepreneurial role where you're really building your own business. We have a lot of coaching, a lot of conversations that we have every day, but at the end of the day, you ultimately control your calendar. So you have to be able to really get up and running and be motivated to do so. And I think outside of that, it's just that genuine kind of drive and want to help others. So ultimately, that's what we do in this career is help others and really help them navigate that future. And so that curiosity to want to learn more about people and build solid, trustworthy relationships with them is huge.
What would be some career growth opportunities if somebody had just started, they had their health, they had their life, then they went on to get their investment? What would be the next step and what does that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So, for us, I think it's an exciting time, from a growth opportunity in our company. We are, rapidly expanding and looking to grow, with the advisor role. And I think within that'll come a lot of different paths. And, for us, we have a kind of a 5-year roadmap and plan that we utilize. And it ultimately, from a development standpoint, that you can continue to grow and develop and be successful as an advisor. And there's a lot of different industry designations, credentials that you can continue to get as you expand your client base. But there's a lot of management opportunity out there as well. And I use Indiana as a perfect example. For us, we are over the entire state of Indiana. Excuse me. And right now, Indianapolis is the only office that we have, and I am the only sales director in that office. So there's room for 5 or 6 more of me in this office alone, plus the remaining cities in the state that we'd love to expand to. So, we want to bring people in, let them grow, let them develop in the role as an advisor, and ultimately give them that opportunity to say, hey, at this point, you can take that path to continue to grow and develop as an advisor, or you can take the opportunity on to move into more of a management role and develop and build your own team as well.
Awesome. And then why do you like working for Mutual of Omaha?
Yeah, I think it starts with the culture and support. And I think this, I try not to use this situation that we're in currently as, too often, but I think it's a great example of the support that they provide for our advisors and our team here. And just, they ultimately know that we are the front lines. We are the people that interact with people, and we'll continue to help grow and build Mutual of Omaha. So it's been a very proactive environment where I think sometimes in this type of industry, you can often have a more reactive feel to it. So that's been really cool to see. But then even just the ability of our team in our home office that has 4,000 people in it, and I think about a month ago, probably now, actually had a positive coronavirus case in the office. So just the ability for them to then clear that office out, and by the next day we were back up and running full force virtually for our clients, was really cool to see. So they've had a lot of different technology, a lot of opportunities for us to really train and develop virtually and make sure that we continue to service our clients in the best way possible. So ultimately for me, it comes down to the people. It's just been great to see and great to see the support that they have. And then what we're doing for our advisors from the 3-year plan that I mentioned, where they can ultimately come into this career and not be worried about making commission only as they get started, and having that opportunity to have that monthly income as they're building their business and growing into the role. It was big for me when I came over here.
If somebody is interested in either an internship or a full-time position, what should their next steps be?
Yeah, so there's a couple different options and opportunities for people. And one is you can reach out to me or apply through Handshake. We do have the opportunity posted there, but they can also reach out to me individually. There is another thing that we have kind of developed out that we are starting to run and do that we will be hosting on April 29th. That is more of a kind of a day in the life of a financial advisor virtual seminar. So that is something that, it's an hour-long conversation where we'll have a lot of our team and management team on the call that will talk more about, day-to-day and what the actual career looks like and different facets of it, so they can start to continue to get an idea and a feel of if this is a career that they would be interested in.
When you get a chance, can you send me more information on that, and we'll make sure that we get that posted out too?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, perfect.
Today.
That was all the questions that I had for you, and then I'll open it up. It looks like we do have a student who entered, so if they have any questions, or Jenny, if you have any questions for Kurt, go ahead.
Great. Well, thank you. You answered many of the questions that I had, but I did jot down just a couple of others. But as far as relocation, I know you guys have obviously other offices that you mentioned, and where you started and everything. I'm curious where all you're at in the United States, your different locations, and then if a student were not from Indianapolis and was wanting to relocate back home, or if they were wanting to relocate at some point, I wasn't sure if that was something they were able to easily do with Omaha.
Yeah, absolutely. So our home office is located out in Omaha, Nebraska, but we have offices across the country. So in every state there is an office. Many 2 or 3 offices. I know looking kind of at our neighbors. I know Ohio has an office in Columbus and an office in Cleveland. We've got one kind of near Detroit up in Michigan, and then 4 or 5 around the Chicago area and throughout Illinois as well. So. But again, across the nation and the country. So, for us, relocation, I think is very easy. It's a matter of just having that conversation and putting in the paperwork to transfer to a new office, closer to where you may be.
Thank you. And then I also was curious about a couple of different student populations, just so we have this and are able to refer them if not. And Caleb, I won't put you on the spot, but you have questions after this. I'd love Caleb to be able to jump in with questions. We actually connected earlier in the weekend. This was the type of work that I thought he might be I think would be well suited to a lot of things, but I thought this might be of interest. But I was curious about a couple populations, one being our international students. I wasn't sure if that was something where if they were, I think as far as an internship, that's often okay. As far as when it gets to the sponsorship and full-time, that becomes a little trickier. So I was curious about that. And then the other population, I didn't know what degrees you required, but we do have, most of our students are pursuing bachelor's degrees, but we do have a 2-year college where they're pursuing associate's degrees. So curious about opportunities for international students and then also opportunities for associate degree seekers.
Yeah, absolutely. So for us out in the field, from the international standpoint, the sponsorship piece is just a little bit hard for us because it is, when they come into this career and they are really opening their own business, it is a 1099 type of career path. So it's difficult from a sponsorship standpoint for us to be able to offer that. Now, I think in our home office in Omaha, where there's a lot of different departments and different opportunities that may be different, there if that's something that they're interested in looking at. But so for us again, it's just hard to offer that. Now the degree requirements standpoint, and I know I've had the opportunity to go out and visit the St. Joe's campus here. So we do associate's degree, bachelor's degree are both great for us and willing to bring in either of those and look at those opportunities with both of them. And then I think, majors was the last question, correct? And, so majors wise, whether we see people come from all majors and all different types of paths, and ultimately it goes back to a lot of those qualities and skills that I talked about earlier that we really look for in the resume and kind of outside of the resume and what they've done. But, oftentimes, I think the ones that we see a lot of are the business type of degrees. And again, communications, marketing, but we've seen a variety of different majors and degrees come through.
Great, thank you.
Does anybody else have any questions? Okay, so I will